Good morning. It is day 4. Welcome back to the 100K challenge. I hope you are getting your homework done and are caught up and are having a great week so far. I'm excited for today because everybody's wondering what you do to get your time back out of the business and how systems work and everything else, right? And today we're going to talk about how this translates into team members and stuff, and why that's important even when you're a solopreneur doing it all yourself. So as always, I stream to the Facebook group from inside of StreamYard. So above this video, you'll see a comment that says allow StreamYard access to your comments so that I can see you on the inside. Anything that you comment on this live, I get to see and can react to. But if you allow StreamYard access, then I can actually see your name and your picture, so I know who's saying it. So allow StreamYard access. That way I can interact with you during this thing. So today we're going to jump into why day 1, 2, and 3 was so important. Okay, because all of us are trying to build a business that can scale and grow past us, that our kids would actually want to take over, that could make us money and give us our time back, right? So that ultimately leads to automation, and it leads to team members and everything else, right? Now, our goal here is to get you to your first 100K. That's my primary focus. But what we're doing on our road to first 100K is establishing clarity, establishing a set way of doing things, establishing a set of systems that run your business so that in the future, a team or automation can do it for you, right? And without those systems in place, the team can't do anything. So day 1, we talked about getting super clear on what you do, how you do it, who you do it for, right? And then getting your elevator pitch. And then day 2, it was who are we speaking to? How do we speak to them, right? So that we're speaking to their pain points and their hopes and dreams so that they will actually want to do business with us. And then on day 3, we set up your Facebook profile so that it could receive incoming leads with purpose and direct them to where you want to go. And I showed you how to go into other people's groups for free and get leads coming to you, no matter what it is that you're after, right? So now we have a system. We know what we're doing. We know who we're doing it for. We know everything there is to know about that person. We know where they're hanging out. We go to where they're hanging out virtually. And then we get them to come back to our profile, which brings them into our world, taking them to your messenger or your website or wherever you want them to go from there. Now what? How does this translate in the future? Because right now it gets you clear. You come into work and it's like, what do I have to do today? I go and interact in these places where my ideal person is, and I interact so that they will come back to my Facebook profile on their own, so that my Facebook profile will tell them to do this thing that I want them to do so that I can get deals, right? That's the purpose. And if we do this over and over and over, we get consistent at it. People in the group start to know, like, and trust us because they see us being active a lot. We're answering a lot of people's questions. We're doing a lot of things for other people. We're being helpful. So we start to gain traction by, what do I do today? I've got 5 minutes. What can I do? Go interact, like, share on somebody's comment, answer a question if you can, and then go back to hanging out with your family. And the more you do it, the more compounding effect it has with other people. So the clarity is, right? We're going in, we're adding value, bringing people back to our world, and then connecting with them. And this is how we get the system working in a process, right? Now, I want to show you how, because tomorrow I'm going to give you a deal board and a CRM to where you can track those people, track your follow-up, track all your conversations. Super, super easy. You'll be up and running in less than 30 minutes, and it's free. It won't cost you a dime. Today, I want to show you how day 1, 2, and 3 that created clarity for you can create clarity also for team members, okay? And how we can manage our team members. Now, I have an interview that we're going to watch that I did about a year ago, actually, already with one of our virtual assistants. And at that time, our primary focus was to get cash flowing properties with seller financing. That was it. Sandwich lease option. We want deals on seller financing, and then we were selling them back on the back end. And so she's going to give you, from the virtual assistant, from the team member's point of view, how do we find the right team member? What's it like for her working with us? How does she portray the things that we put off to her? And what does the clarity that we have with our systems and with our processes and our company culture, how does that help her or hinder her? And then she's going to give you real numbers. So the reason I love this interview is because she breaks it down and says, I call this amount of people every day. I have this amount of people answer the phone every day. That turns into this amount of leads that are willing to have an offer. That turns into this amount of contracts. Okay, I want you to have a realistic view of what is actually involved here, because I'm telling you not to cold call and make all these calls. And so this is good for two reasons. If you're already doing that stuff and you don't want to listen to me and you want to go and call and you want to spend all of your time calling, then I want you to have a realistic view of what those numbers look like. Okay. If you're not already calling and you're wanting to listen to me and go fastest way to money and avoid all the calling, I want you to know what the numbers look like so that you can be assured and be confident in the choices that you're making. Okay. I want you to not just be like, well, I'm just going to listen to Erin. Well, I want to give you the numbers so that you can see she makes 100 and some phone calls every day. Can you make 100 and some phone calls every day? Because when you see the breakdown from 100 phone calls to 40 people on the phone to 11 people open to offers to get one contract, that's a lot of phone calls when you have a W-2 job and kids in school and everything else. And so either way, it's very beneficial. And two, you get to see that building the systems in your business now will extremely benefit you because it's just you. So it's easier. And then when you're ready to bring in a team, it's like, boom, they just plug in and take over. Okay. And I'm going to give you a resource as well after we watch this interview. I'm going to give you a resource that'll show you exactly how to manage a team, but it can be used for you right now. And I suggest you use it for you right now. I still use it for me. I still log into it and I track my time every day. It works great. I'm going to show it to you. It's free. You can do it just for yourself. It's free. Remember, I'm trying to get you going with no money. So I'm giving you free deal board to track your leads. I'm giving you free stuff to track your time, and I'm giving you the systems to help make it happen. Okay. But today I want to show you why this is so important right now while it's just you. It translates into a team. Okay. And this is kind of you can't really say good timing because it's a bad thing. But a friend of mine I just talked to yesterday, his dad died on Monday. And when I was talking to him yesterday, he said his dad had passed away in his arms, right? He was trying to keep him alive until the ambulance got there. And like, he was just gone before they even got there. And what he was telling me was, he said, my dad was a proud man. He never wanted help with anything. So he took care of things around here. And a lot of us, and like the rest of us, now that he's just up and gone, because we weren't expecting it at all. He just died suddenly. They said, now that he's gone, like, we don't know how to do stuff. They said, we don't know how to fix things around here. He was the one that had the loans going to try and build the house on the land that they have. He was the one that ran the business and his mom did the work. So they have a pet grooming service, and his mom went out and did the work, but his dad actually ran the business side of everything. And because he was so proud and wanted to do it himself and would never ask for help or never wanted any help, now that he suddenly died, nobody knows what to do with the business. And I need you to hear this, because this is what I'm trying to teach you. If you pass away tomorrow and you've built a business, could your family step in and run it for you? Because like, this is real world for me. Like, that's what I think when I'm building stuff for people, is how do we make a business that will actually run without you? How do we make a business that someone else could step in and take over for you? Why? Because what if something happens to you tomorrow? What if you get hit by a car tomorrow and you're in the hospital? Can you tell someone where to go to log in, and they would be able to easily and clearly tell what you have going on and what they can do to keep it running for you so that it doesn't just die. Because that's important. Like if something happens to you, could somebody step in and run your business for you so that it didn't just fall apart? And if not, that's where you need to be thinking. That's what I'm trying to shift your mind. I'm trying to get you over 3 days into a creator mindset, right? This is what creators do. Creators think farther ahead. They think, what if, what if, what if? Not in a fear or scarcity mindset, but in a what if this happens? Okay, I've got this in place. Boom. Because I can tell you with all of my coaching clients and what I build them and what we work on, that is our entire focus. Is I tell them, if you passed away tomorrow, could your wife or husband call me, your coach, and say, hey, Aaron, something happened to so and so. The business is there, but I don't know what to do with it. And I could step in, log in, and tell them exactly what to do with it so they could take over. Is that possible? It is possible. I guarantee you it's possible. But are you building it that way? And it's not super hard, okay? But it takes intention. It takes a creator mindset. This is the systems side of building a business that they're not teaching you on YouTube. They're all teaching you how to do a quick deal so that they can help you make a quick profit so you can buy their stuff, okay? And then they work you through that and they got the next upsell and the next upsell. Okay. I want you to build the business to support that, to where you do get that quick deal, but then you get the next one and the next one and the next one. And it's very clear and it's consistent and it compounds and gets faster. It gets easier and someone could always step in and do it for you. Okay. That's the value of what we're trying to create. So we're going to watch an interview where Aini is going to walk us through what it looks like working with a company, us, that has their ducks in a row, that has the systems and processes, okay? She's going to give you the real numbers, and it's about 30 minutes. And then I'm actually going to give you, I wasn't going to until today. Talking to my buddy yesterday, I just realized I need to give you guys something that will allow you to kind of manage a team so that you don't feel the need to go buy something. It's a free app, the same one we're going to use tomorrow for our deal board. But I'm going to give it to you for free, and I'm going to show you for free how to track your time and keep track of your team members afterwards. So let me know you're here. I'm going to pull up the interview, and we are going to get started with the interview, and we're going to jump right into this because I'm excited to get going. This is all built, like I said, so that someone else can step in, but it's super important for you right now too. So same thing through this recording, I will be in the comments. I can interact. So if you guys hear something that stands out to you, or you have a question, type it in the comments and I'll talk back and forth with you. I'll answer your questions and we'll make sure that we get you taken care of so that you understand it. I want this to be something that you can take and use immediately and not leave here with a confusion of kind of wondering what's next. So bear with me just a second while I get this pulled up. The fun side of tech where I get to do it myself for you. Here we go. All right. Everybody see the screen all right? Let's see if we can blow this up like this. All right, we should be good to go here. So I am going to jump out of the live and we are going to get started with Aini and then jump straight into teaching you how to apply this in your business right now. Let me know if there's any problems with the sound or the volume.
Hi, good morning.
How are you?
I'm good. You? How about you?
Good, good. I guess good evening.
Yeah.
Just waking up. For those
Yep.
of you watching, this is Aini. Aini runs the place. She's the reason that our business continues to move from day to day. She's awesome. She's going to give us some insight. She's just coming into work and it is nighttime where she is at.
Yep.
Hey, Aini, why don't you tell us like where you're at and just a little bit about yourself real quick?
Sure, sure. So I'm a Filipina. Of course, I'm in the Philippines right now, Manila, Philippines, so the capital of the country. And it's now 10:16 p.m. here, so 12 hours away from you guys.
Gotcha, gotcha. A lot of these people have had problems with virtual assistants in the past, and they're nervous about it, or they're looking at kind of what that next step is when it comes to hiring somebody. So, what's some of the stuff that a virtual assistant, say from the Philippines, is going to have to deal with on your normal like work day? What's some of the struggles, good and bad, I guess, of working from the Philippines?
Okay. Well, first, since we have a lot of typhoon here, it's like, we're in the Pacific. We're beside the Pacific Ocean. So it's like we are getting 20 typhoons every year. So with those typhoons, it seems like we're getting about five, six to seven strong typhoons. And when that happens, we really have blackout, as in for 1 week we don't have we don't have electricity, and sometimes we don't have signal, so for the internet. So that was really a struggle for us. But of course, as a virtual assistant, you need to be resourceful. We need to have a backup electricity, like generators, or power backup, like power banks, and another laptop. So we need to have two laptops in order for us to get through the whole shift. So 4 hours, 4 hours. So just to get it through the night.
I always like to point this out right here. I like to stop and like kind of bring this up because there's a big question for a lot of investors and a lot of people I talk to. Do I hire somebody in the US or do I hire somebody from overseas, a virtual assistant or a local team member, that kind of a thing. And I have to be 110% honest. I get a lot better relationship and dedication and work ethic out of INI in the Philippines and virtual assistants than I get out of local Americans that we hire for a job. As sad as that is, um, the the American mindset is, oh, it snowed this much, I can't come to work today. But INI in the Philippines will get a typhoon that wipes out the electric in her whole town, and she will show up to a Zoom call like this with a black room behind her, and her face will be lit by the screen of excuse me, by the screen of her computer running off of her backup power supply while she fans herself because her air conditioning doesn't work because she has no power. But she still has her backup batteries running her backup computer, sitting there in the dark sweating so that she can continue to work our business for us. I have not gotten that level of commitment out of anybody in the US. It's always a, hey, this happened. Sorry, we're not going to be able to do that. And so finding the right team members and making sure they have some of those things in place, understanding what she has to go through, 20 typhoons, did you say a year?
Yes, for the whole year.
20 typhoons a year, and they get blackouts all the time. That helps you when you're interviewing a virtual assistant to add to your team. When you're looking to bring on a team member and they say, I'm from the Philippines, you can be like, oh, you get a lot of typhoons there. Do you have a backup power source? Do you have a backup computer? Because she has all those things in place that allow her to continue to work. And I know she feels really bad if she actually has to miss work, even though for us, we're like, we get it. Come back when you're ready. So, Aini, from your point of view, when you're looking to work with somebody, right? Like from the team members' point of view, right? If other people are talking to and they're trying to interview somebody, what kind of qualities would say I have to have that would make it to where you would actually feel like this would be a good company to work for? What kind of make you confident and want to work there?
Well, a good company provides good relationship with its employees. So we need to have a good relationship. My boss, they treat me like a family. All of them, they actually treat me like a family. So I'm really comfortable with the work, and it seems like I'm already working at home, so it's already my comfort zone. Plus, you have bosses that treat you like a family, so it really keeps me with the whole night, even if you have a lot of rude sellers every time I receive a or receive and then make a call, it's like talking to a stranger and then they treat you rude. But as long as you have a good support with your employers, well, it's really comfortable, and it provides me with a good company. So yep.
I got, I got you. Some of that, like what you guys, what she had just mentioned about like having rude people and things like that. Something that I've found with other virtual assistants, and I actually don't know I don't remember what Aini was doing before us, but I know a couple of the other virtual assistants we had, a lot of them come from phone support for companies. And the companies tell them, this is where people call when they're like having problems with something they bought. And so the people would call them up, and their previous employers were like, your customer service, you're supposed to smooth this out, take care of the customer. So in other words, they were told to let the customers be rude to them, be mean to them, and just take it. And they were just supposed to just, be super nice to the customer and just, yes, sir, whatever, that kind of a thing. And so they had kind of a timidity about feeling like they were worth something, right? If you're told to allow people to talk crappy to you, you start to feel bad about yourself a little bit, right? And you don't want to stay in that situation anymore. And so when they come work for us, we're like, hey, you are part of our company. We do this well. We communicate well. We treat everybody with respect. You, me, the team, and every single person that we communicate with. If somebody is rude or mean to you, you don't have to take it. You know what you're good at. We are doing a good job. You can say, excuse me, sir, I'm not trying to be rude to you, and I'd appreciate you not being rude to me. I'm going to do a good job with what we're doing, and all I ask for is the same. Can we talk? And like, they're not to where they're used to being able to say things like that. But Aini knows we are on her team. If somebody called us up and wanted to complain about Aini, we would tell that person off because she's part of our team. We know she's really nice. She does a great job. So if they had a problem with Aini, they're probably the problem. And we're going to back her up. And she knows that. So it allows her to enjoy being at work a little bit more. Your people need to know they're on your team. They're not just some cheap labor in another country. And if it's a local team member, the same thing. Don't talk down to them. Bring them into your team, teach them and use them, and let them have some authority in your company. So I know we're kind of tangenting off there, but you mentioned how people talk rude to you, like sellers and things, right? But working with good owners that are kind of on your team and support you helps you kind of deal with that. Give us an idea, approximately how many phone calls do you make each day?
Oh, it's like about 80 to 120, sometimes even more. It really depends on how many follow-ups, how many callbacks I have, and then how many leads I had for the day. But it's like in average 80 to 120.
So Aini kind of handles the front side of our business where we have a couple services that provide just a few leads each day. And then she scrapes the internet for sale by owners and some things like that to generate a few leads on her own as well. When you're scraping for leads yourself, just going out and trying to find leads, approximately how many can you find each day?
From
Just total.
Zillow, yeah, from Zillow and Trulia, I can get like 20, and then Baycom.com. So I mean 20 for all of the websites that I get the leads from. So
Mm-hmm.
Baycom.com, Trulia.com, of course Zillow.com, buyowner.com. So those are just
Right.
the usual.
Okay. Well, it gives people an idea on kind of what to expect because you work an 8-hour day, right?
Yep.
So in an 8-hour day, she can get around 15 to 20 leads on her own, just scraping like for sale by owner and free websites, public websites. And then she'll make around 80 to 120 phone calls each day. Now, a lot of people wonder about the systems and the processes. And, a lot of people are using dialers that dial like 5 people at once and all this type of stuff. Where are we making our phone calls from, Aini?
Oh, it's Freedom Soft. So it's like a very user-friendly application. So we make calls, receive texts, and all of our properties are there. So all of the leads and lists that we have are all there.
And a lot of people think that's inefficient because we have to, from FreedomSoft, you have to call one person from their profile. You're not calling 5 people at once and then somebody answers the phone. But the numbers that we have, and I'll show you why this is kind of important. I know a lot of people have dialers, and a lot of people say we made 5,000 phone calls this week, and I'm like, wow, how many houses did you get under contract? And they're like, well, we ended up with 2, and they both fell through. And I'm like, you made 5,000 phone calls in a week, you got 2 under contract, and they both fell through? Holy crap. Aine's making 80 to 120 phone calls a day, and she's doing a lot of follow-up. Those 80 to 120 phone calls are the new leads. So if she finds 20 leads, she'll call those. And then the rest is follow-up calls. Is that right?
Yes, we have like 6 days in a row to call back if we haven't got no answer or just voicemail. So I need to follow up 6 days.
And a lot of people with these dialers, they're like, we're making 5,000 phone calls. And then the next week, they're grabbing a new list and they're making 5,000 phone calls to new people. And they're wondering why they're not landing more deals. She just said she makes 80 to 120 phone calls a day. Let's average it in the middle at 100. And if 20 of them are new leads, that means she's making 80 follow-up calls every day. Remember the last couple of days I talked about yesterday, we stressed the importance of follow-up. We're paying somebody to make 80 follow-up phone calls every day. I mean, think about the importance of what we're trying to get across here to you. So an average day, 80 to 120 phone calls. About how many people are you getting on the phone, like to answer?
Yeah, just to answer, like about 20 to 30. Some of them are wrong number. Some of them, the number has already been disconnected and it's a new owner's number. So
Gotcha. And out of our, when you get somebody on the phone, what are you trying to accomplish with them? Like what's your task with that person when you get them on the phone?
to ask them if they are interested in doing a lease purchase or owner financing. So if there is a possibility that we can buy their houses through lease purchase or owner financing, then that's good.
Yeah, because remember on day 1, we talked about getting super clear and super focused. And then your company should reflect, and the way you do business and your processes should reflect what you're trying to do. Aine is working with us across Central Florida. We're buying and selling across Central Florida. And our primary focus is to obtain cash flow. So we're not trying to just wholesale houses right now. We are fully trying to stock a portfolio of seller financed or lease option houses where we're getting monthly cash flow, and then we'll cash them out down the road. So her script on the front side is, she just told you what her objective is. Get them on the phone and see if they're open to selling on a lease purchase or owner financing. And then she passes them off to acquisitions after somebody says they're open to that. So basically she gets a, yes, I'm open to that conversation, would talk about it more, and she passes it off. Out of around the 30 people that answer the phone, how many of them are actually saying they're open to having that conversation?
Well, including the people who is also asking for an email, it's like about 2 to 3 a day.
Yep. We would talk about it more. Whoops. And she passes it off. There we go. Sorry about that. 2 to 3 a day.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're making 80 to 120 phone calls. We're getting about 30 people or so to answer the phone. And then we're getting 1 to 3 leads to say, yes, I'd be open to selling on seller financing or lease option. Right?
Yes.
Is everybody catching the actual numbers? We're trying to give you a realistic view of what those numbers look like. She can find around 20 new leads each day for sale by owner and things off of public websites. And then she'll make 80 to 120 phone calls with follow-up and new leads every day. She gets approximately 30 people on the phone, which turns into about 1 to 3 people that say they're open to having a conversation about selling to us on terms. And then it passes off to acquisitions. At that point, for each one of those 1 to 3 leads that she gets that's open to a conversation, it's approximately 11 of them turns into a contract. So if we get about 11 of those leads that are warm with her, that say they're open to that conversation, we'll get one contract out of about every 11. So she makes 80 to 120 phone calls, gets 30 people on the phone, turns into 1 to 3 people that say they're open to having a conversation about selling on terms. And then for every 1 in 11 of those will turn into a contract. Now, ask yourselves about your business right now. How many of you have numbers like that where you know approximately this many leads turns into approximately this many people on the phone, approximately this many people saying yes, and approximately this many contracts? This is a system and a way of doing business in your business that will allow you to have some predictability. Because if we know that we get a contract out of, say, every 11 leads, and Aini gets 2 a day, then we should get 1 contract a week if we're kind of in that ballpark. If we wanted to scale it up, Aini would need to make 200 phone calls instead of 100, get 60 people on the phone instead of 30, and get 3 to 6 leads instead of 1 to 3. And then that would turn into 2 contracts instead of 1. Make sense? Knowing your numbers and your process of the way you do it and what you're trying to do will allow you to actually kind of predict and scale in your business. We had some people say, good morning, Aini.
Good morning.
We had one person say he's been to Mindanao for mission trips a bunch of times.
Wow.
That's Don,
Wow.
so he likes it over there.
Wow.
She can't see the comments, so I'm making sure I let her know what you guys say. Lucy said, who do you use to skip your lists? I use REI Skip, just reiskip.com. It's actually, I think it's Max Maxwell's company. It's one that'll allow you to one-off skip. So if you're like just driving for dollars and you see a vacant house, you can drop that address into REI Skip. It'll cost you like 40 cents to just do one-offs, but you can just one-off skip and get the address and phone number and email and stuff for the owner of that one. Or you can upload bulk lists and it gets it all the way down 15, 20 cents, something like that. So let's see. That gives us some actual numbers. Aini, when you're doing things for us, how do you feel like the process is for like the things that you do?
Well, since I've already been doing it for 2 years, I'm using scripts, but it's really, you need to tailor fit it. So it really depends on who you're talking to. So, and that's why we are also asking what's the reason why they're selling the houses. So you also need to tailor fit the responses that you have to give them in order for you to convince them to sell it to us. So, and yeah, of course, you also need to be very patient, as in, because there's really a lot of rude people. And the first thing that they will ask, are you a realtor? And then if they ask you, are you an investor? I immediately say, don't worry, we're not going to lowball you. We offer full market value price. So,
So see, Aini has actually learned how to interpret what that seller, what their pain point is, right? She knows that if somebody goes, are you a realtor? She knows what the seller means is that, are you just wanting to list my house? And she reminds them, no, we're the buyer. And, or they're asking if we're a investor that's going to lowball them, because she knows they've probably gotten 80 phone calls from people lowballing them. So she instantly responds with, because she knows the person she's talking to. Remember, we talked about day 1, getting clear. Who am I talking to? What does that person need? How do I speak to their pain points so I'm catering my message to something that's going to speak directly to this person? We teach Aini that stuff. She knows a little bit about creative finance. She knows how to analyze properties. So when she's talking to somebody who turns out to be another investor, she doesn't sound like she's some stranger that we just threw on the phone to cold call them. She can actually have a good conversation with the person, and she knows how to tailor that conversation for them. So 2, when you're working with your team, whether they're in the United States or overseas, it doesn't really matter. If you've got somebody cold calling for you, you need to learn how to treat your team like family and be behind them. This is your company culture. How are you creating your atmosphere for your team? Aini said we treat her like family. We know, Aini has mentioned it a couple times, people are rude. So, Aini, do you have unnice people every day, or is it like once a month you run into somebody who's rude?
Oh, it's really every day. Like about 3 to 5 people a day.
So if I know that my team member, Aini, is running into 3 to 5 people that are giving her crap, cussing her out, talking mean, and she has to deal with that every day, by me getting after her, if she takes a 30-minute break to go sit and do something to just get the crap out of her mind so she can come back and be solid again, I don't really care because she's doing a good job and she knows what she's doing. And I understand she needs that refresh time. And I know there's a lot of people out there that are really hard on their team members. Like, it's not break time. It's not lunchtime. What are you doing? And they track, like, micromanage like crazy because they're kind of afraid of getting taken advantage of by an employee. And so find a happy balance, right, of your company culture and the things that you know your team has to deal with and what you're okay with. I am more, she has an 8-hour workday, but me personally, like when I'm managing people, I'm more of like results. If she gets us 1 to 3 leads a day, I wouldn't care if she did it in an hour or two, and then she needed to take the rest of the day off. I'd be like, awesome, she's still getting the same results she was getting before. To me, it wouldn't matter. We have a company goal that we want to hit and numbers that we have to hit to get there. But ultimately, I'm going to be really flexible with Aini because I know she does a good job and I know she works hard. And as long as she's doing it, I don't have to do it. So it's a win-win. So think about that when you're doing your company culture and when you're starting to deal with people. Aini, do you have any pointers or tips or things that you feel like, let's say somebody's new or they haven't hired a virtual assistant yet, or maybe even they have a virtual assistant who, well, let's be very specific. I know 1 or 2 people right now has a virtual assistant that has just stopped talking to them. They just stop responding to messages and things like that, or they're having a hard time finding out what the person's thinking or doing because the communication isn't really good. Do you
Oh,
have
okay.
any tips or ideas, like from your side, of what might be happening or something they might try?
Well, maybe they can try to go to different companies providing VAs. So in order for them to make sure that they will, really get a VA that will not abandon them. So there's actually a lot. Like me, I'm working with my Outdesk. So that's just one of the companies who provide VA. So you can really be assured that your VA will be working for you in a long time because we have contract. So say for me, for example, I have a contract for 6 months, but I've already been working here for 2 years. So yeah, in order for them to be assured that they will not let them, or they will not be abandoned by their VAs, they should be having a good company that provides VA.
And there's a lot of companies out there. Like she said, she's working with My Outdesk. That's where we found her. It's been really good. I have worked with companies, and I have done them on just on our own. And when we're all done here, we'll let Aini get back to her day, and I'll give you guys a way of kind of tracking some of that, to where if you do them on your own, you can kind of keep track of that time a little bit. Um, Being from the Philippines, is there anything like that they might be dealing with? If they were just dealing with a virtual assistant they found on their own, and this person's in the Philippines, and they're kind of not communicating well, what could that person in the Philippines, what could they possibly be going through that they just stopped communicating? I mean, are they just, is the culture, is there anything about the culture of the people that we wouldn't understand from our side that might be causing that?
Well, Filipinos are very shy type. Like we cannot really express ourselves. Say, for example, that we're dealing with a problem. We're not really outspoken. It's like we are just we'll just be silent for about our problems. So also it might be a problem with the internet signal,
Mhm.
or maybe because there's no electricity, because sometimes, especially with remote areas, they really don't have a backup connections, like say for example the internet connection we have here in Manila, the center, or the central part of the Philippines. We have providers who can be used as a backup. So say for example the towers went down, so we are actually using them. But in remote areas, totally, if they got a big typhoon or a strong typhoon, they cannot really communicate. So that's also might be one of the reasons.
Okay, so maybe the smaller areas. So what are some of the big town names that would, like, if I was just trying to find a virtual assistant on my own, I could
Mm,
ask them where they live. What would be
yep.
some good cities to make sure that they live in?
Manila. Yep,
Manila?
Manila, Baguio City, Davao City, and Cebu City. So those are the four big cities here.
Okay. Can you send me those names in Slack and then I'll paste them into the Facebook group for everybody? Because
Absolutely.
we'll forget those names.
Okay, I'm doing it now.
Cool. Yeah, just shoot me a message in Slack. I'll copy it over. So
Okay.
some of that, remember how I talked to you guys about make sure you know who you're speaking to, right? This works with your team members. It works with your spouse. It works with your kids. It works with a seller. It works with a cash buyer. If you know who you're speaking to, then and the things that they go through and what they're dealing with and their mindset on things, then that is going to help you know how to talk to that person. So my wife and I have traveled a lot. We've been to 11 countries. We recognize culture and the differences between everything. Um, and we know, like, we're moving to Thailand. Hopefully next month we'll be over there. So we're going back to the Asian culture, Asia on that side. And we know there is such a big difference. And an example is Thai people never want to cause someone to lose face. So they don't have arguments and things. They have a saying that's like "mai penai," which means it's okay, no worries. So if they start to argue, they'll just be like "mai penai" and walk off. Like, it's okay, don't worry about it, and walk away before they end up in a fist fight. You don't cause the other person to feel bad or lose space, right? And in their culture, it's also more rude to tell someone no than to tell them yes, knowing that you can't do it. So, in other words, if I stop along the road and ask a Thai person for directions and they don't know, they're not going to say no or I don't know, because I would be causing them to lose face. So they'll just tell you something. They'll be like, yeah, go down here 2 blocks, turn right, it'll be on your left. And they have no idea. They just gave you wrong directions. Well, in America, like, we'll beat somebody for that. Like, that's rude. Why did you give me wrong directions? But in Thailand, it's like that's their culture. So knowing their culture, that it's more proper and polite to just give us wrong directions than to have to tell us no or they don't know. That means that when I stop and ask for directions, I'm going to ask 3 or 4 people along the street and see what most people are saying. So I'm going to ask 4 people, and if they all say go down and turn left, then I'm going to say, okay, it's down to the left. If I ask one person, I'm going to be like, maybe it's down there. So understanding the culture. What she was saying about the people in the Philippines, they're very shy culture, right? They don't, it's kind of the same thing. If they're having a problem, they don't want to talk to you about it and try to figure it out. They want to do a good job. They want to work hard. They want to do well for you. And if there's a problem, they don't want to tell you, hey, I got a problem with this, and seem like they're not smart or they can't figure it out. They'll just try to figure it out. And so what really helps too, like, we do checklists for a lot of stuff, right? Do something that we've noticed, not with Aini. Aini's like, she's been at it long enough. She just does her own thing and we just know she's going to do it now. But we still have checklists in place for everything. And I know with past virtual assistants, and I know with clients that I have now that have virtual assistants, telling them exactly what to do with a checklist that is like, do this, do this, do this, we get better results than telling people to do something and letting them figure it out on their own. Is that kind of a cultural thing too? Like, do the Philippine people like to follow a laid out exactly this as opposed to being allowed to ad lib, if you will?
Yes, we really need to have checklist. We need to really make sure that we are doing the right thing, and yeah, we really need to be precise and exact what things that we should do. So we really need to have a checklist for us to follow it.
So we have, and this is funny because you guys, most of you in here have your own business, or it is you. You're the one doing everything. And when you're the one doing everything and you're running the business, you have all this stuff going on. And so if you make a checklist on how you do a process and then you test your checklist, you as the owner, you're going to go through it like this. You're going to be like, okay, it says to do this. You're going to go over and do it. And your mind is thinking, but if I did it this way, it might be a little better, or I could do this too. Is that worded right? Maybe I could change the way that's worded a little bit. And you're going to think that as you go through your own checklist, every line item, because you're the owner, you're trying to do a good job in your business. You know, you're the one that has to create this stuff. So you're constantly checking yourself as you go through your lists and as you're doing your job. We have made checklists for things, and then we get on Zoom with Aini, who's never done it, and we give her the checklist, and she screen shares with us, and we watch her go through the process. And Aini will just take the checklist item, she'll read it word for word, and she'll do it. She doesn't question it. She reads it and does it, checks it off, reads it, does it, checks it off, reads it, does it, checks it off, reads it, does it, checks it off, gets to the bottom, clicks done, and moves on. And us, as the owners that created, are like, whoa, she didn't even check to make sure. She just did it and submitted it. And we're like, that's what she's supposed to do. Like, she did it perfect, exactly what we wanted her to do. But us as the owner, we have a tendency to step back and drag our feet to try and make sure it's perfect, perfect, perfect before we would click submit and finish a process. And Aini just looks at it and goes, this is what I'm supposed to do, and does it. And so Aini is more efficient than we are. Aini gets more phone calls done. She gets better follow-up tracked because she follows a system and a checklist, and she just does what she's supposed to. So when you guys get the right systems, checklists, SOPs, and things in place in your company, you're making your job easier for your virtual assistant or your team members, no matter where they're at. And they're going to be more efficient than you will. So something to keep in mind as we're creating that stuff. Any other tips or pointers you could give us, Aini?
Well, maybe they really need to make sure that the VA that they're gonna get will be very patient. That's all that I can really say.
How
They
could we
need to be
tell?
patient.
How could we tell
Um,
if somebody's going to be patient for us or not? Is there
well,
any?
maybe yeah, maybe they can ask them during the interviews. What are you gonna do if you have a lot of phone calls with rude people? What are you supposed to do? So,
You think experience with that is good or bad? Like if they've had jobs with experience before or no?
oh yes, it's actually a factor because, like me, I've been working for the customer service for a total of 8 years before I go with VIP Buyers Club. So
Gotcha.
we are trained. We were trained to be very nice and polite.
And we get lots of compliments from sellers that have talked to Aini when they're talking to our acquisitions. They're like, she was really nice. Two, we are very, we tell people exactly where we're from, where we're at, and things like that. And we tell Aini to say the same thing. And I'm going to bring this up because I'm thinking of a story here, Aini, and it's an example. It's a perfect example. The guy in my mastermind that I told you, he's had a lot of people calling him about a house they have for sale, and a lot of them are virtual assistants saying, I work with my partner and this and that, right? And they don't even know their partner's name. And a lot of them try to act like they're not in the Philippines or they're not in another country. They try to act like they're really the person that's going to be here buying the house. And we instruct Aini and everybody on our team to say, no, we're actually 100% virtual. We have team members all over the place. We have team members in Tampa and in Orlando, and I'm actually in the Philippines right now. Like, we want her to just tell them. because it's a forthright thing. It's a real person thing. And it's funny because I think, was it you or was telling me about you were talking to a seller and he asked you if he heard crickets in the background?
Oh no, that's
Remember
not
that
me.
one? He was they actually heard crickets in the background and they were like, "Are those crickets?" She's like, "Yeah, I'm on my front porch. I'm in the Philippines. It's nighttime." And then they had this good conversation about being out, and being on their porch in the Philippines. They talked about Traveler, and then like that seller was like, "She was just the nicest person." So good stories when people are actually people being people. So just think of that when you're working with your teams. Well, Aini, I will let you get back to your day because I know you have things going on. I appreciate your time. We've had people say thank you and all that good stuff. And as always, I'll pass along their comments as they come in.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, guys. See ya.
Yep. Have a good one. Bye bye.
You too. Bye bye.
There we go. What did you guys think about that? What did you get from Aini? Was it helpful having the numbers of what she's actually doing from day to day? Was anything surprising or throw you off? I tried to put notes in the comments as we went so that you could kind of remember the key points and the numbers that she does. Because if you don't know your numbers, you can't scale. If you don't have systems and processes in place, a checklist of the way you do things, you can't scale. If you don't have systems and processes in place, nobody else can do it for you. You got to hear kind of from her point of view the importance of culture. If we don't understand the culture of the people that we're dealing with, how are we going to operate with those people, right? Which falls back to what we talked about yesterday with getting what you want, or I'm sorry, 2 days ago, with getting what you want in any conversation. If you don't know who you're talking to, it won't work. So if you're going to bring in a spouse or your children or a virtual assistant in the Philippines or a friend from your hometown, you have to have a system. You have to have checklists in place. Okay. Now, I am going to give that to you right now. And this is something that I haven't been doing, but I feel like is going to be very important for you guys. And I feel like it's very useful. So I am going to show you right now something called Trello and a board that I have created in Trello for managing your teams. So let me know, can you guys see this all right inside of Trello here? Put in the comments if you can see it or if you can't, or whatever, whatever you're kind of running into on your side, and we'll take it from there. There we go. I can make that a little bit bigger. There. Okay, so this is Trello. And Trello on the inside is basically, it's a free app. It works amazing from your phone or from the computer. And for me, that's one of the primary qualifications for anything that I use. Everything that I design is, could I do this from a beach in Thailand with my cell phone? And if I can't do it from a beach in Thailand with my cell phone, then I'm not interested. And so Trello is an app that is free and it works amazing from your cell phone or from a computer. And so that's why I want to show it to you. Now, I'm going to give you this board. You're going to be able to simply click on the link that'll be above this video afterwards, and it will bring you into this board. Now, before we do anything here, Trello is an interactive platform, which means this is a live board. Interactive, live, everything. So if I add 100 people to this board today and you don't copy it to your account, you just start making changes right here, everybody sees the changes. You start putting your company information right on this, we all see it. Okay. So you need to copy this board to your account so that you're the only owner of it. You're the only one on it. And that's the first thing I'm going to show you right here. Okay. I've made it a priority card on the template, which you can see fairly easily, but I want to make sure that that we go through this too, so that I can walk you through how to do it real quick. Now, on this board, if we go over to the left, the first part, this priority card, if you click on it and open it up, it's going to give you scroll down here, it says copy this board, and here's a checklist to copy the board. It's step by step. It shows you exactly how to copy this board. Before you know anything about Trello, doesn't matter, you need to copy this board, okay? And it'll say, click on show menu in the top right of this board, okay? I'm gonna walk you through this process real quick because it's super simple, but that checklist will help you if you forget how to do it later. In the top right corner here where it says show menu, we're gonna click on show menu, scroll down to the 3 dots that says more, click on more, and right here it's gonna say copy board, okay? Click copy board, and right here you're gonna rename it. And I just want you to name it your business name, team management or something, okay? So let's say VIP team management, okay? Now this is the title of the new board that you're copying into your account, all right? And then your workspace, you'll probably only have one workspace because you'll probably be new to Trello, but make sure that this is your workspace and not mine. If it's 100K 5-day challenge, it's in my workspace. You want to keep the cards and the templates, so leave both those boxes checked so that it copies all of these cards for you. And then you simply hit create. And when you hit create, you're going to see the name up here change. See how the board flashed and it's the same board, but now the name up here says VIP Team Management. That means now this is my copied board, and that's it. Now it's copied into your account. You own it forever. You can make all the changes you want and it will work for you, okay? If we want to go back to the other board, we're simply going to, I'm just going to hit the back arrow so that I can keep working on this one. Now, that's the first thing I need you to do. You have to do that for Trello so that you copy it and you own it in your account and it belongs to you. If you don't do that, on Sunday, when the recordings are removed from this group, the links to download this board will also be removed. And anybody who is on this board will be removed from it. So if you don't copy it this week before Sunday, you will lose access to it. And you won't get it after that unless you have VIP Access Pass and you get the recordings and you can get the links and stuff after that, okay? And there'll be a link to upgrade to that if you want to get the recordings and the links. But download it or just copy it into your account now before Sunday, and it's free and you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to buy anything, okay? But on Sunday, I'll remove everybody from this so that the template doesn't get messed up by people making mistakes and making changes, okay? Because everybody makes changes on accident. So jumping back in here, let me show you how to use this real quick. The whole window that you see, the entire, all the way out to the edges, top, bottom, left to right, is called a Trello board, okay? Picture the entire window is a Trello board, like a big whiteboard hanging on your wall. Each one of these gray lists up and down is a list, right? The list names are in capitals. Welcome, start here. That is the welcome, start here list. There's a logins list, okay? There's a scripts, training, resources list, employees, VA team list. And then each one of these white cards is a card on a list. So this is a company information card in the logins list. Easy enough? Once you copy this into your account, you can delete this first list from your board. You do that by hovering over the 3 dots in the top right and just clicking archive this list, and it will get rid of this entire list right here. Okay. Now you own this in your account, and now this is where you want to use this to start managing your team. And what you can do here is, I like to have 3 lists, right? There's a logins list, and here I'm going to put in the company information and any software that I'm using in my company so that I can share that with my virtual assistant so that they can log into this board anytime they need a login for something or to remember where our training is and stuff like that. Because I don't want them having to come to me for a question every 5 minutes. I want them to be able to go to something and get the information they need and then solve the problem, right? We don't want to babysit our employees. We want them to be able to do the job without us. That's how a business works without us, right? Oops. There we go. That's how the business works without us, is they have to be able to find everything. So this allows us to organize information that a virtual assistant would need, or a spouse or a child or anybody working with us, so that they could find the answers they need. Okay. So this first column right here, we're going to call, this is your logins. And I have created basically templates for stuff that is free that you could use. So company information is a card. We click on that, and when we open it up, you're going to have the name, the title of the card, and then here is a description. Now you can click anywhere in here and it makes it editable just like a Word document. But you see, when I click in there, everything shows up highlighted. If you make a mistake and you push a button, it's going to delete everything that I have in there for you. Okay, don't freak out. Just hit Command Z on your keyboard and it'll bring it all back. Then just click off of it and unhighlight it. Okay, so anytime that you click in something to edit it, just immediately click again so that it unhighlights things. And now you type in here just like a Word document or a Google Doc. Okay, I have plugged in information here so that you have stuff to fill in. At the top of each one, I said, do not make changes here. This is a shared template. This is to remind you to copy it first. Okay, if you're seeing this stuff in here, remind yourself, did I copy this to my account? If it's copied to your account, then just click in here and then just delete this top part. And now you just have company name, address, phone, email, EIN, and you can fill in your information here so that you can keep your information here for the future. Now, the idea here is if you fill in your company name, address, phone, email, and EIN number, it makes it to where your virtual assistant or your team members, if they need that information, they come to the management board, they click on company information card, it opens this up, and there's the details. They don't need to come ask you, hey, what's our mailing address? It's on the Trello board. Jump in there and grab it. Okay. Trello also allows you to add attachments directly to this card. Right here on the right, we can put attachment, and it'll let you upload anything from your computer, Trello, Google Drive, Dropbox, Box, OneDrive, whatever. So if you have your actual company documents, you know, like your EIN paper that comes with your EIN number on it, your articles of incorporation, your LLC docs, you can attach them right here to this card, and it will house them on this card to where you can easily just click on them and open them up and view them. So you can put the quick access information up top to where you can open this and see it. And then you can attach the actual documents to where somebody could click on it, open the document, and see the actual document. And they're housed right here, nice and organized, quick and easy to get to, instead of being like, well, I've got them in this Google Drive folder and I've got them saved on my computer and I've got them saved over here. This puts them into the internet, right? To where if somebody snatches your backpack while you're on vacation and you lose your phone and your computer and everything, you could buy a new computer while you're on vacation, log back into Trello, and everything would be right there ready to go. You wouldn't lose stuff because it's on your computer and your computer got stolen, or it was all on your phone and you went swimming with your phone and now your phone's ruined. The idea is to get it to where it's easy to get to. About the only thing that I don't put on Trello is like my bank information. Like I don't put my logins for my bank. That's pretty much it. Everything else I'm going to run through here so that it's in one place, easy to find, because I want my team members to be able to be like, boom, it's on the Trello board. They can find it, access it, and go to work. Okay. And then we're just going to do the same thing for all of your logins. So whatever software you're using, right, you're going to put it in here and you're going to just put the username and password to log in. That way it's like, hey, how do I log into this? Go to the Trello board. Never answer a team member's question with the answer. Answer their question with where they go to find the answer. Does that make sense? Because this is super important. That right there is huge. When you're working with somebody, never answer their question with the answer to their question when they're on your team. Okay? Because we don't want them going, oh, I have a question. I'll go ask Aaron. We want them going, I have a question. Where do I find the answer again? Oh yeah, it's on the Trello board. And they go find their own answer in the systems that you've put in place. Okay, this is how systems work. Systems take it off of you and put it on the system. So you get hit by a car, you're in the hospital, they can still go to the Trello board to find the answers and the information and go back to work. Okay, or your family members could log in and boom, there's everything and go back to work. And tomorrow I'm going to show you how this works for all of your leads too, so that it's quick and simple and easy. As you can see on this board, they can see everything side by side. So if they need MailChimp login, they just click on the MailChimp card, open it up, and there'll be a username and password right there. Now, I have put some notes on each one of these cards, like do not make changes. This is a template. You can have up to 2,000 people on a mailing list for free. These are the things that I put right here, like Google Drive, Google Suite, MailChimp, HelloSign, Notarize. These are software or systems, right, that will allow you to basically do work for free. So like Gmail, if you use Gmail, it's free. Put your create your account and then put your username and password right there. If you want to do something a little bit higher, right, and get like Aaron at VIP Buyers Club, you have to have a website, and then you can use G Suite at $6 a month, and you can get like a custom website or a custom like Aaron at your website. You guys don't need it, but it's there for the future. Okay. So like if you're not using it, delete it. Don't just leave it here, delete it. Get it out of your space, out of your head, clear it up. Okay. MailChimp, it allows you to send emails. So if you start building your cash buyers list, you could use MailChimp for free up to 2,000 people and send a property packet or information out to your buyers all at once. HelloSign allows you to sign documents from anywhere. It's like DocuSign or any of those, but you can do 3 a month for free, and then it's $20 a month for unlimited. So I just put a link there. If you're not going to use it, delete it. Notarize.com. Everybody asked me, how did I sell properties from China as a stay-at-home dad without going to a closing? I notarize my documents online. So Notarize.com will allow me to have the title companies email me the closing documents. I save the emailed documents, upload them to Notarize.com. It starts a live video feed with a notary that's accepted in all 50 states. And I can legally sign and have notarized documents of my signatures on the closing documents. And then I just email that back to the closing company with the state statute for the state that I'm closing in. And Notarized will give you that state statute showing that this was legally done in that state. You forward it over and it's closed. So that's here for you guys to check out later. That's not what we were talking about, but I wanted to give it to you, so I put it on here. Okay. Anything else that you're using, you can simply add a card, but then you're going to have a blank card. So if we put Trello and we open it up, there's nothing in the description here. Now, if I delete that card, let's say I go to MailChimp and I click on the pencil in the top right and click copy. Now I can call it Trello and create card. It's going to bring up a new card called Trello. And now it has this stuff in the middle, the description that I put in there. It already has this copied with it because we copied the card. So now I can just delete all this stuff up top. And it's got username and password, and I can just fill in my username and password. Now, if you notice here, the 2 stars before and 2 stars after, that makes anything in between the 2 stars bold. Okay. So when there's 2 stars before and 2 stars after, it makes stuff in the middle bold. If you notice when we save it, it's bold and the stars disappear. So if you're going to type something in, you simply just click after it, space, Aaron at, you just put in your username just like that. We're just typing in like a document. Okay. Just like any other Word document, you hit save and now the information's there, easy to get to. Easy enough to use, yeah? I like to have the logins so that my team can find them. And then I like to have scripts, training, and resources. So if I have any training or scripts, if you have scripts that your cold callers are following or whatever, then you're going to put them here. You're just going to create a scripts card. Script for seller calls. Open that card up, click on attachment, and attach the script right there. or type it in the description right here. It's that easy for adding information and training for your virtual assistants and your team members, okay? I like to put these two in here, and I put these in here as templates because this is good stuff for you to follow. Your elevator pitch, put it in here and leave it here for your virtual assistant to read over. Okay, if you attach your company culture and what you believe and the reason you're doing it, then your employees can review it anytime you tell them to. You'll have to tell them to, but you tell them to and they know where to find it. Weekly Zoom meetings and training. This is a system I set up for you, an idea of what training would look like if you're working with a team. Now, even if you are a solopreneur, you do all of this for yourself. Make this board, put all your logins on there, and this is for you. So here's all your logins, here's all your company information, your weekly Zoom meetings and training schedule. Do this for yourself. On Monday motivation, go over what you need to do for the week to hit your goals. When you have a team, you go over what you need to do for the week to hit your goals with your team. Do you get it? I'm giving you a system. I'm giving you a training. I'm giving you a way to track everything that will work for you right now. And when you bring a team in, you simply add them to it. On Monday mornings, I do this. Invite your team member in and do it. On Tuesday, I set the intention. What are we working on today? What's the priority for today? Invite your team member in. Hey, what's our priority for today? What's your priority? What's mine? What are we going to get done? Wednesday, systems review training. What do we need to do today? So on Monday, I like to have a training. On Tuesday, it's a simple, what do we got going on today? On Wednesday, I like to put in a training or a review. And then what are we doing today? Thursday, what are we doing today? Friday is a wrap up. Let's review what we did all week. Did we hit our goals? What do we need to do different? Stuff like that. Okay. So that is a step-by-step system on how to do it. Now, this card right here is important for your VAs. Okay. This is important for them because you're going to give them a checklist on what to do each day. We're going to simplify it down and say, do these things every day. So if we click on this and open it up, we've got the reason this picture up top is because I went to the attachments on the right and I attached a picture and it shows up in the middle like this. Okay. And then that puts that picture at the top of the card. Here's the name, the title on the card, the description in the middle, the attachment shows up here. And then at the bottom, I built a checklist as an example for you for overseeing your virtual assistant or your team or your spouse or your kid or whoever's helping you. Okay. So here is they would log into this card and they would just go down this checklist. So what's the first thing they need to do today? Review the elevator pitch and the company culture. So they're going to read that and then they're going to close this and they're going to click on your elevator pitch and company culture and they're going to read it. If you had 30 seconds with somebody in an elevator, what would you tell them? What would you do? You put in your company culture here and your elevator pitch and they just read over it. We want them to do that at the beginning of every day so that they remember why we're doing what we're doing. Then they're going to come back to their checklist and they're just going to check it off that they got it done. The next thing, check your email and respond. Don't send anything new, only respond to the received messages. It's telling them exactly what I want them to do next. Remember, Aini said we really need a checklist so that we know what we're doing. Here's your checklist. Now remember, if you're a solopreneur and you're doing this yourself, even if you're doing this free way that I'm telling you, going and finding wholesalers, going and finding buyers, connecting the dots, pulling money out of it, this is how you do your day. Just dial this in. The first thing you should do, review your company culture and know why you're doing it the way you're doing it. Check your email and respond to anything. This is like if somebody sent you an email yesterday, we want to get to it fairly quick, right? So we're going to check the email. Okay, so-and-so responded this, responded this, responded this. Don't go through and like check 50,000 emails. Just go in with intention of, did somebody email me? Do I need to respond? Respond to it. Then they're just going to check it off. Got it done. Check Trello for follow-up tasks, your CRM. I'm going to give you tomorrow. I'll show you exactly how to do that. Check and respond to voicemails, text messages, daily expectations. Like once you get the follow-up and things done, what's next? Well, now that we got the follow-up and everything out of the way, we're caught up for everything that's behind us. How do we keep moving forward? We're going to work on daily expectations. Well, where's the daily expectations? Right there, it says scrape the web for new leads. Call sellers till you have 2 new leads willing to have a conversation about us buying their house. Right up here towards the top, we have in the description, I have daily expectations. You can put whatever you want in here just by clicking this and changing it. So whatever you want your VA to do daily, you're going to put it in here under their daily expectations. And this could be changed at any time. So let's say down here at the bottom in their checklist, we want to change this to where it just says daily expectations. Check the description above, right? So we click on this and now it's editable. You can edit it just like up top, like a Word document. So we just go in here and we just delete this part. I'm actually going to cut it so I can paste it back in. We delete that and it says daily expectations. Let's say check description above. Now, this says daily expectations. So once they do these things, it's like work on your daily expectations, check the description above. And right here, you as the owner could change this every day. You could say, this is what I want them working on today. You go in there, you make changes before they start their day. And then they get to that point, they come up here and boom, they know exactly what to do. And so you as the owner are just saying, okay, what do I need them to work on today? Changing it right here in this one spot. And then they're getting to it in their checklist and they're reviewing up there. The next day, all you do is set the next expectation. Or if you have them doing the same thing every day, then you leave it the same. And they come in, they know exactly what to do. But do you see the importance of this? Do you see the importance of this for you? Because you could set the intention for yourself for the next day. At the end of your day, you could review your day and say, okay, what's the primary task for tomorrow? And then you could go and set the daily expectation for yourself up top for the next day. So what's that do? It creates clarity for you the next day. You come to work, you open up your checklist, and you do the things in your checklist. You're going to review your company, respond to email, do your follow-up, check for follow-up for voicemails, and then do your daily expectations where you've already set your primary task and you do it. You don't have to figure out, what should I do today? It's already there. This is what creates the clarity. This is what keeps us from going all over the place. Well, maybe I could work on this. Oh, I got to do that. Maybe I should work on that. Ooh, maybe I should work on that. No, you follow your step by step and you handle the things in the order that you said you're going to. Okay. Here, I've put some things like comment below with what you feel like you could do better or what needs to change. And then the last thing is like, hey, the owner, if this is a team member following it, I like to say, hey, one of us will cover your checklist and we'll reset it. So then I, as the owner, would go in at the end of each day and I would check and make sure they got their stuff done. And then I'm just going to uncheck the boxes so that it's ready for them the next day. There is a way to set automation to where when you set the checklist, it'll automatically reset itself. Okay, but I'm not going to go into that right now because we just don't have time to get into every little detail. I can give you the major things. I can give you the big components. And there is a learning, like you do have to learn to work this process. Okay, but I don't have enough time to like dig into everything in extreme detail. And that's why, like, as you can tell, I'm trying to hurry along so I can get you as much as I can in here. Okay, so this gives a very clean and clear. If it's just you, then this is you. Perfect. Use this. Put all your logins in here. Any scripts and training. Who here's bought a course or bought something and they don't even remember the website where to log in? Put it on here. Put it under your logins. Put it under your scripts and training. Okay, that way you always know I can just jump into Trello and I know how to access my stuff. Okay, now if we know that this is where we're going to track how we do our work, this is our projects and operations, right? Then this is how we're going to track and how we're going to find and keep organized our company information. Now, how do we make sure that our VAs actually do it? Like, how do we keep track of somebody in the Philippines without spending a ton of money, without breaking the bank, right? So this website, Hub staff, if you look at the logins on this template that I give you right here, Hub staff, I put the link right in here to Hub staff. So you can actually like open this up, just click Hub staff. Hub staff is it's going to take us to, I got to stop the share. Hold on. Because I'll actually show it to you. It's going to take us to Hub staff. Now with Hub staff, you can actually track your time for free. So if you're just doing, if you're tracking like yourself, then you can sign up for a free Hub staff account, and it will allow you to download Hub staff onto your computer. And when you come to work, you open Hub staff just like it's a time card, and you click Start Time. When you do that, Hub staff actually tracks whether the keyboard and the mouse are being used. So your virtual assistant couldn't just start Hub staff and then walk away for 2 hours and make you think they're working. It will track that their keyboard and their mouse wasn't used in that 2 hours. And then you can set it to where it will take screenshots without the other person knowing about it. If you're tracking your own time, you can set it to take screenshots and you won't know about it. So it randomly takes screenshots whenever you tell it to. So if you set it to say 1 screenshot every 10 minutes and you're a visual person, you don't have to go back and check all the scorecards and all the checklists for your virtual assistant. You can just open up their 8-hour workday and see a screenshot for every 10 minutes. And you can just look at them and be like, okay, they were in the CRM. They were making calls. They were changing leads. And Hub staff says they were working. And you can literally look at the screenshots of what they were on all day. If it's taking a screenshot every 10 minutes and you see that 4 screenshots in a row are on YouTube, obviously they spent 40 minutes on YouTube all at once. And you're like, what the heck were they doing on YouTube? And then you can follow up with them and see what they were doing on YouTube. I tell people when they're hiring virtual assistant, telling them this is going to be a requirement. You have to download Hub staff. You have to be tracking your time. And if you don't start your time when you come to work, you don't get paid for that time that you worked, period. I'm not going to take your word for it that you were working, even if stuff got done. If you didn't log into Hub staff, you don't get paid for it, because Hub staff will let me actually see screenshots and know exactly what websites and everything they went to. So it's free for one person, and then it's only like $10 or something per user to upgrade your plan. So when you're ready down the road, remember, this is not for hiring your team right now. This is use it for free and track your time. And then down the road, when you start making some money and you're ready to hire a virtual assistant or a team member, then you upgrade your account and it's $20 a month. And now you can track your time and their time. And boom, it's a low budget, high value software that allows you to actually track your company. So I hope this was super, super powerful and useful to you. I know that so many people have gotten so much out of this, and I know it's a lot to plug into a little time, but the key takeaways here: if you don't put the systems and stuff in place now for yourself, a team will never be able to step in and do it for you. If something happens to you, like my friend whose dad died on Monday, and now he's left going, I don't know what to do with the house, with the building that they were trying to build. I don't know where he was at with the loan process of what they were doing. I don't know how to run the business for my mom. My mom doesn't know how to run the business. We're stuck. They're literally starting from scratch and there's nothing in place. There's no way for them to take over. If you don't build it with that in mind, it's not going to happen. And your family might find themselves in the same place. And so we as creators need to think about that. Put these systems in place for yourself right now and start using them. So the board that I'm giving you, the Trello board for team management, is your management. It's you right now. Put all your logins in there so it's easy to find. Put your scripts and training in there so it's easy to find. And then set your daily checklist on what you need to do each day so that you show up to work, no shiny object. You just follow your checklist and you get things done. As things change your checklist. Remember, primary, copy the board to your account first, then start adding and changing things. If you don't copy the board to your account, you will lose access to it and you'll be removed from mine at the end of this weekend. On Sunday, the recordings go for everybody that doesn't have VIP access. Okay. So get it copied or get VIP access. There'll be a link for both above this afterwards. As always, thank you for your time. I appreciate you hanging out. I hope it was useful. I hope you got a lot out of it. I look forward to success stories. When you get it dialed in and you get your stuff in there, share it with the group. As always, you inspire each other just as much as I do. I can give you systems and processes, and I can help you get going in the right direction. But when you guys post that you're actually getting it done, you're taking action, you post your homework and you post pictures of you getting stuff done, it encourages other people, sometimes even more than I can encourage them, because they may see me up here and you are just like them because you were in there and you were learning at the same time they were learning. And so help each other learn by posting an interaction, comment, tell me what you think. I use that feedback to make it better for the next time. Okay. Tomorrow, we're going to go over how to track your leads so that you can nail your follow-up and what that looks like. And I'm going to give you that CRM as well so that tomorrow you'll have a deal board, be able to track your leads, track your follow-up, and know exactly when to follow up. And your projects and operations from today, you'll be like ready to go with all your systems in place. So by the end of tomorrow, you can have everything up and running, and you should know how now and what you need to go out and do to start bringing in that money into your business. Okay. So I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Make sure you don't miss tomorrow because the deal board's important. This is like people are paying hundreds of dollars a month to track their leads on CRMs that they never figure out how to use. This thing is simple and easy, and people get success with this. They stick with it. Okay. So make sure that you're there for that. Make sure you're there for tomorrow. And if not, catch up on the replays in this group through the weekend, because on Sunday, everything goes away. You'll still have access to the group, but there won't be recordings from the challenge in there. You'll have access to the recordings as VIP access, and that's it. So make sure that you're catching up. I'm not trying to sell you. I'm trying to make sure that you hear it from me over and over and over, because Monday morning, a lot of you are going to message me saying, Aaron, where are the recordings? And they'll be gone. You don't get them after that. Okay, so I'm trying to make sure that you hear me and that you guys get caught up this weekend, because it will go exactly like I tell you it will go. This isn't false scarcity. On Sunday, everything goes. So thanks again for your time. I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow, and have a good rest of your day.